It's actually a Pepsi ad, you see.
Yeah, what does that match up?
Huh? I wasn't lying.
Just,
Yeah, but it
this
goes-
is the equipment fund. Usually I can find this number somewhere on that list.
Let's get
So. Oops, 80. This might be a mixed up package, because this is not equipment fund, this is. 3215.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
That one just said April,
Yeah,
says May 11th.
oh,
So I don't know if that has anything
we're
to
gonna
do with it
put
or
this,
not.
put this packet back and say, don't get, hi, hello.
Right?
Yeah,
Am I right
I
or not?
think, yeah, I think we're something wrong with this one. She is.
Marcia, I don't bite. I don't bite. You could have sat next to me.
Oh, we can sit around the table.
Stress out.
No.
Good dog.
Still.
This is actually just to add Rebecca to the treasurer for the
I
general.
just don't want you to feel left out. It's just my voice.
Then Clarence got me. All right.
I know I don't smell good. He did. You don't need it.
Yeah, but
No.
I spent years looking for that
Okay.
class deer
No.
I
trailer
don't, I
truck.
just don't want you to be alone.
This is the information that they're gonna be talking about this evening.
Okay.
Well,
Do you want to ask? Oh, here.
okay, you got a pile of
Optional.
signed ones? Signed ones?
I gave them to.
They're all over here.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep them stacked.
Hey, can I hold on to it?
You can help them with
I
that.
didn't finish.
Good.
I signed all of these. I just want to, I don't want to do the right place.
And you can do everything.
I didn't do that one, and I have one on the bottom that I said I can't.
I forgot that. This might not coming out the day I did.
The what?
The Deerfield Valley News.
I have a bigger.
Oh, I'll get it.
Okay.
No big deal.
Get it.
You're signing on the line.
No, I'll get to that. Yeah.
At a time.
Oh, that's not a problem. We can do
Did you
this.
sign these?
I'm gonna go back to the original plan, and just pick them up on my way to.
The one I gave you. You did not either.
I could not.
Well, I.
Which of these? I signed? Right there.
Hi, Nick.
Or five, first two, and then that's got signed.
You're good to go, Jim, if you want.
Okay, everybody, attention please. I'd like to bring the select board meeting for May 25th in order. Bring it to order at 6 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. I don't know anybody's name. I have a terrible memory, so let's everybody say their name. I'm Andrew.
Molly,
Jeff.
Elizabeth,
Elizabeth,
Cheryl,
Cheryl,
Robin.
Robin. Okay.
Nick,
And Nick. And everybody,
Kate. Is Kate
And I'm
still
Kate,
there?
yep.
okay,
She's gotta go to a show, quick.
so Kate, we're gonna introduce you right now.
Okay, just-
Oh, any changes to the agenda? Nope. Okay. Unscheduled open comment would be Kate.
Hi, thank you for seeing me early. I actually have a little bit of time, but I do have I'm sitting in the parking lot of a theater. We have a show, tickets to a show tonight. So I just helped Nick to create the little $4,000 grant application that we've been talking about. And you have a copy of it, I think. I sent a PDF over. It just if you had any questions, it's really straightforward, and Nick certainly can jump in. We're not committing to anything. We're just asking for the money to say that we are going to have this energy fair, and we may have speakers, and we may have refreshments, and we may have other uses for the money. Basically, we're not asked to say what we're using it for. We're asked to say what we're using it for as we draw it down. But right now we're just saying, yes, we would like to have the funds.
Great.
How much is that?
4,000.
Okay.
4,000,
and
yes.
I would just, the only thing I would add to that, Kate, is that none of these funds can be used for implementation of anything. It's purely for information, seminars, stipends, that sort of stuff, for informing our residents about what they can do to help their own efficiency. And then the subsequent parts of the MERP will be for municipal building improvements, and Kate and her wonderful energy committee are looking into several other alternatives, one of which is the window dressers, which I think we might not be able to get into it this year, but definitely for next year, which they provide inserts for people to put in their windows to improve heat efficiency.
Good point, Nick. Thank you. Yeah, that woman from the window dressers is coming to speak to our energy committee meeting, which is I think a week from Monday.
Cool.
So we'll know more.
Well, good idea going for that grant, huh?
And
Well,
then-
I was pushing a little bit to do it only because it is a first come, first served situation. So we don't want to miss
Sure.
out.
No,
Right,
no.
absolutely. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
And
Nick,
I'll also take this opportunity to just say that the next stage of the MERP is the municipal building assessments, and that should be coming down shortly, and every town is guaranteed to get an assessment. So it's not even a time question. It's just signing up for it.
When is that supposed to happen?
They haven't released an exact date, but they keep saying 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. You know, they're kind of like Donald Trump's health plan.
No.
Very good.
well, Nick, you can let me know if there's any further discussion, and if anyone needs any information from me, I'm very reachable. So thank you all. We just need your okay to submit the application.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. And we'll talk
Yeah,
about
so
it when you
if we
get to it in the agenda.
If we could get we'll do the official approval when it's scheduled on the agenda.
Thank you,
Cool.
everyone.
Enjoy the movie or the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tell us all about it.
I will.
I'll make a motion. Is there any more unscheduled public comment? Okay. I put forth approval of the May 11th minutes. The May Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we also have approval of the May 13th special meeting on recycling.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 13th special meeting on recycling center.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And we have completed the signatures of pay order. Okay, Elizabeth and Robin, you have 15 minutes.
We'll do it.
Thank
We'll do
you.
it. So I'll just jump in and start. So my name is Robin Risky. I live and work throughout Wyndham County. I recently left working with the state of Vermont with the Department of Health.
I knew you.
Substance prevention.
I knew you.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was you. I knew it was you without your mask on, with your mask And so currently I'm working with Voices of Hope, which is a grassroots group out of the Deerfield Valley area. And we started, about 4 years ago? Yep,
About, it's gonna be 5 years.
5
Yeah.
years, 5 years.
2018, we started.
And we're a grassroots group, working to actively support folks that are impacted by substance use and other mental health issues. And we do that through supporting recovery support, which Elizabeth will talk about. And we also are avid fans of distributing Narcan throughout our rural areas to make it easier to save lives, and places where emergency services may not be able to get to quickly. We also do a lot of education and work around reducing the stigma and discrimination against people who are struggling with addiction. We hold trainings. We're going to have a big open house and health fair June 21st with the free barbecue down at the old firehouse in Wilmington. And we also hold a annual non-denominational memorial service for folks who've lost loved ones and family members to substance use. And we do fun stuff, and we're not affiliated with any religious organization or
Not like Narcotics Anonymous. or-
we host
We host them.
recovery meetings, but we're not, we're not affiliated. We are just local folks who recognize there was an issue, being in a rural community that all the energy goes to where the population is. And so we have people that are out in our communities that are not connected and don't have access to services. And so we're building that from the inside out. It's in Wilmington, but our goal is to reach the rural community within the Deerfield Valley. So that's who we are. And I am just going to share, we have some resources, but these are some of our newsletters that we've passed out in the past. And we also have a schedule. The town of Wilmington has given us permission to use the old firehouse. And so these are some of the programs that we offer for free to the community around recovery, yoga, meditation, everything's free. So I'll pass it on to our lovely Cheryl.
I have taken on and Robin and I have a partner that has taken on the giving presentations to local businesses, homeowner complexes to try to make this available to the public. These emergency kits are extremely helpful in making naloxone available to the community. Publicly available naloxone can mean the difference between life and death for a person in an emergency. So the naloxone looks like this. This is outdated. So you put your finger on the bottom, on the sides, and it dispenses that way. It's specifically designed to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. It is used for the unintentional mixture of prescription medication and alcohol, and is also prescribed to individuals that experience severe allergic reactions. It will not harm if dispensed to someone that it is not having an opioid event. Storage is between 59 and 85 degrees. It temporarily, it's about 20 minutes. So the most important thing to do is to call 911 to
Get help on the way. huh?
correct.
Right, before you do anything, 911 first.
So to evaluate the signs of an overdose, unconscious and inability to awaken, slow, shallow breathing, clap your hands, maybe try to stir them, Again, someone's calling 911. After you evaluate, see if they have a pulse. You're looking for fingernails, lips that are blue. You immediately dispense the cartridge up one side of the nose. For the most part, if they do not respond, you need to do the rescue breathing, which the device, there's a face mask. This is a sheet that opens up to cover over the person's face for specifically designed for your protection. And then 30 chest compressions. It's between 2 to 5 minutes. You don't wait any longer. You dispense the second cartridge up the other side of the nose, and you wait for the emergency folks to consult. So, this is important to me because, I lost my son to an overdose, and, things were going good. And I says, all right, I think we got this, and didn't look into this very important tool. And if I had had it, if I had educated myself, there might have been a different outcome. So it's something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. So this is important to me, and in my experience with dispensing Narcan, 5 years ago, there was no conversation about this. During presentations, I am nothing but welcomed by folks, because they've either suffered an experience, personal experience, or they know someone that has. So it's an important thing, and it's a great thing that we have this tool in the community.
And I just want to say, Cheryl is amazing. She has gone to every business, library, post office, town hall, throughout Deerfield Valley, and distributed bags, and now we've got these boxes. If there's any place around Marlboro that you think they could be given to, they're free. We'll make sure that Narcan is updated in them every 2 years. But it is amazing, like Cheryl said, how more open people are to recognizing that any one of us could have an overdose. We might take something that we don't know what it is, or we might mix something. A child might get into something, or somebody may be, struggling with addiction. So it is a life-saving thing, and I think you do have a box here at the town hall.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, maybe we'll use this one.
If I could just interject just one question, just, I worked for a casino, and we were all required to have, CPR cards. Partially because that helped protect you under the Good Samaritan law.
Yeah.
Do you know if the administering of Narcan is covered in that, in that just, people are litigious crazy, and you end up saving someone's life, and then they sue you because you gave them.
That's a very important question. Once you call 911 and it is documented,
You're covered. You're covered by the Good Samaritan law in Vermont.
And it's on the boxes that we distribute, the Vermont Good Samaritan law. So regardless of who administers it, under any circumstances, you're protected.
the only time you're not protected if you are a person that actually might have something on them, or they have a felony record. And when the officers come or rescue and find that out, then there might be a problem. Our time is officially up, but I would be remiss to skip
No,
my part.
no, we didn't start.
We had 15
That's all-
minutes.
that's okay.
We didn't start. at 3.
Very interesting.
Thank you. I do the one-to-one work, or I am a certified recovery coach, they call me, and that is considered now a professional within the state of Vermont. And so what we do is we host groups. We have groups, all different kinds of groups. And when you were asking about the NA, what I would say is that we believe in all paths of recovery. And there are many, right? If someone wanted to come in and do Dharma or Buddhist group, go ahead, do it. It's gonna speak to someone, right? And so we do have, we host Al-Anon, we host AA in the building right now. I'm trying to get Naranon in, but we'll see what happens with that, you know, and it's moving on. And so when I hand this out, I'd like you each to take 2, one to keep and one to give away. Because there's some place you're gonna put this down that somebody's gonna pick it up and need it. Or want it, you know, because a lot of times this is conversations that people don't like to have. You know, and people don't like to say, oh, my family members.
I'll take a few for the.
Oh, great, there you go.
Took a few for the end.
And there you go. And I would be happy to bring a bunch up to Forrest. I can bring stacks. And I saw that I sent a couple to him and he has about that. I was very excited about that. And this next one is sort of a little bit more of the history, you know, what we've done since 2008. We have a place to be. And that was new. We just got that in September this year. And the town of Wilmington really supported us by giving us rent-free space in the old firehouse. And it's a great spot. We hope to be able to at some point feed people. We work with all kinds of odd situations, I would say, whatever can help somebody. So last winter, I got a phone call from the fire chief who said, oh, I forgot to ask you, but this is what I've done. I've instructed all the guys that if somebody needs warm and shelter, they can come during the day down there and have coffee and be warm and whatnot. And we said, yes, that would be fine, as long as they let us know.
Right.
Because we're still with temporary hours, so to speak.
They also called right before their inspection.
Right.
Realized
Oh,
they-
no, that was the Deerfield Valley
Oh,
Rescue. So the other thing we did was Deerfield Valley Rescue, get a phone call, you still got naloxone? Yeah, we got naloxone. Oh, I need to talk to Cheryl because we're about to be inspected and ours is all out of date. Can we have yours, please? Yup. And now we're a distribution point for the state of Vermont. So all these things are moving along. And we are finding, or I am finding, with doing the groups and whatnot, it's very rare that there isn't a family member somewhere who's affected, and that affects the whole family structure. So we're working on the best way to look at that, because as we say, stigma is still a very big problem with this. And as exciting as it was to get a place to be, people are now figuring out why they're coming in. So some people don't want to come to a group there. So we move things around, and we decided to really this year, since we're finally settled, to really make a push and let you guys know we're in your community. You know, we may be based out of there, but we're in your community. If you want to do something sometime, call us. We'll facilitate that. And so as we go forward with our planning, we've always had a memorial service every year, and we've decided to take it out of Wilmington because we don't just serve Wilmington. I think we're sort of leaning toward Whitingham right now, but we don't know yet. And we'll do that in partnership with the Westover Congregational Church and Brattleboro Area Hospice. So those are the things, and those are the kind of partnerships we love, you know, and we just really want you to know that we're here to serve everyone. And if you've got a great idea, my phone line's open.
Is this the phone number to get hold of you?
Yes, that's a Gmail. It's, so I did want to also say we have no emergency services. We don't want to mistake that. If you're in terrible crisis, call 911, because that's where I would have to refer you. So we don't do emergency, right? What we do is I will meet with the family member the next morning. I will, do a lot of those things, but we don't jump up in the middle of the night or something.
Connection,
like
like
that.
that's what's
It really
valuable.
is. It's our
And
connection. with
someone
everybody.
to talk to. Because if you think someone
Yeah.
has someone to go home and have this conversation, I'm concerned, I'm suspicious that my son might be, and just to have that conversation to be able to make the connection or get some type of advice for help.
Way to
Is
talk, way to
valuable.
break the ice.
And
Yeah,
Cheryl
right.
leads a group every Friday night.
Right.
For
So she has a
families.
family discussion. It's not a group, but it's a family discussion. Yeah. that
And these
comes
boxes are
together.
paid for by the state of Vermont. And you mentioned an inn, we're getting them into inns, we're getting them into campgrounds.
Yes, I have a campground that I
Oh, great.
Yeah.
go to,
You're gonna do it?
4 acres, yes,
Yeah,
I would like to.
so if you would like more,
Yeah,
just let us know, or we'll come knock and,
Yeah.
Which
we'll have
campground?
Set 'em up.
4 acres
Horseshoe Acres, okay.
and Andover,
Yep, but you can all find us now and truly we'll probably be here and there, but really what we ask from every town is to know that we're here for you and just help us spread the word.
We have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
My question, I guess 2 questions. The first question is, are these boxes, is your goal or are they already being installed, outside, like to the public?
Yes.
And so my question to that is, have you had any complaints and or noticed that those have become, I don't want to call them hot spots, but hangout spots for people that are actively using, knowing that that's available to them?
Do you know, I in presentations, for one particular inn in Wilmington, that was her concern. And she actually reached out to the police department. She felt more comfortable having this on a window. So people knew it was available, but in order to get it, you had to go to the desk.
Gotcha.
So, and you leave that up to the business owner, whether, what I learned to promote is a public box. Say like in all the ski shops where it is mounted on a post. It's available to the community. If you need it, take it, no questions asked. That's the whole idea of this, to have it available to everyone.
Okay.
But it is up to the business owner. But as long as they see, there's an event going on out in the parking lot, they know they can run in.
I
and
send
be
it
able
to
have
my nieces and nephews who go to electronic music dances.
Right.
And they just carry it with them. I have it in my bag. I almost had to revive a woman at Hannaford's a couple weeks ago who was passed out by the shopping carts and people just walked around her like she was garbage.
Right.
And, we want to keep people alive, and addiction is really hard. And not everyone's ready to quit and get in. So really it's about saving lives. It's harm reduction. But we also do, we want to prevent people from using substances and help them when they're ready to get help.
Right.
And the recovery coaching is really one-to-one walking the walk for someone who does want to attain full-time recovery.
Would anybody like that?
yes, Gail.
No,
Question, does the fire company have Narcan?
Yes.
You do.
And you guys have meetings about how to use them and all that, the liability. You don't need these guys to come and help.
Yeah, on the back of, the history of our
Yeah, this is
organization, I usually request this be mounted over the box. Because in an event, you're like, oh my, what is the first thing I'm supposed to do? It's right there. And there's also a card in the box. There's multiple reminders. And then actually looks right on the side of the box.
And I just want to close with another story that I think stories are really, really important. And our other partner in crime, one of our other partners in crime, Kathy, was at work one day and she approached a woman who came in to the shop and the woman said, no, I don't think so. She started to walk out to her car and she turned around and came back in, the woman did, and said, you know, I got a nephew that's not doing so good. Maybe I will take one of those. So she took it, and I believe it was 3 months or so later, the woman came back in and asked for Kathy and said, I need another one because I just saved my nephew's life. So I think we are really good people, all of us, and all we want to do is help the next guy along. And
Thank you for
that's
being out
our
there.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
If I could add one suggestion, and I don't know the guidelines of the Marlboro Town Fair in terms of this sort of thing, but you might want to contact them to see if you could put a table up just for informational purposes. You know, it would inform a lot of people that this service is available. And then also I was going to ask Molly if she could pass around a sign-up sheet to all the new people who showed up, because I can't tell who they are. And then just leave it for me in the box.
And Nick, I just wanted to thank you too, because in our discussion with Robin that day, we or you and I, we've decided that you were absolutely right. And so we are doing the presentation as quick as we can to the Marlboro Alliance.
Great.
So thank you for that. And that's how our work really starts to expand, is all of you talk about all of us.
Sounds like.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I have some other ideas. I'll reach out to you in email just so we don't take up the time here. And
That sounds great, Nicholas. Just great, Nick. Love it.
well, thank you for
Thank you for
Is
your
that one looking for a
consideration.
home?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yep. You want to take it to your end?
Yes.
Awesome. And then does anybody else want a bag that has 2 doses of Narcan in it? It's free. There's breathing apparatus and
And you can always come to the firehouse, let people know that at the firehouse in Wilmington during our outs and initial, we have a no question asked policy at the front desk. You can come in and say, could I have one of those bags? We don't even tell you what it is.
Expiration is
Okay.
in 2026.
I can keep opening it, man. I'm sorry, we took so long.
Have you written names for the
I
next?
certainly will.
That's your pen, right? Yes. Let me get you.
May I borrow it? Thank you.
So you retired.
It's 26th.
I see.
And I had a phone call.
Cheryl, I'm putting your name down.
I already have you ladies. It was just the new people who kind of wandered in in the back there.
Yep.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for
Thank you for
You
coming.
know,
your community.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, we're still on new business.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're-
Thank you for coming in.
You betcha. Thank you for having us.
Keep up the good work, as they say.
Okay,
Always that way.
Nick, where do you want this list?
we need to carry on.
Just include it with the signed things and just put it in the select board box. You know, just keep it open in case someone else comes in.
Will do.
Okay, we're continuing with new business. So we're discussing the warming center. Who's here to discuss the warming center?
Well, it's really you guys talking to them. I'll just start it off and then the select board can pick up on it. I've
Thanks,
been in
Nick.
touch with 3 to 4 different funding resources and the town lawyer. And there's a real problem with the town obtaining grants or using ARPA funds and giving it to the church. There's a whole church and state issue. So it's something that we have to deal with.
So you know that the building is a nonprofit.
It's still a church. The building is a church. The town lawyer said that. Our ARPA advisor said that. Jay Sparks said that. Alyssa Sabato from the WRC said that. The town cannot provide money that would improve the physical plant of a religious organization.
However, it was suggested that we could get a portable one, sort of like you don't pay as much taxes on a permanent building. If you build your shed on skids, you pay less tax. So it would be something that if the Marlboro Alliance were to move, it could take that generator away. So it was suggested to get a really big one so that it could run a 950 or something. Someone suggested that so it could run propane, water, electricity. People could charge up, the heat would go on.
But it would not be able to come on automatically, or?
I don't think those can be, I don't know. That would be the next thing to ask. Do you know, Jeff?
I doubt that they will come with electric starts. But they don't know if they will come on automatically without looking at them. I can't answer that question because I'm not an electrician or a.
Right.
You're talking about is a generator?
Yeah.
But that's standard automatic start. The town has one here, we have.
But-
one.
But there's somebody has to come and,
No,
No,
it's
that's,
off if the power goes on. It goes on if the power goes off.
But that is a permanent mounted one.
Right.
when it's the
What the problem
permanent.
we're running into is,
Okay.
And you have to have a switch.
if the communities or if the alliance leaves
Yeah.
and not at the building anymore. If the generator is permanently mounted,
Right.
it can't be moved
Yeah,
so
well, I
easily.
can see that'd be a problem, even if you could do it with a movable generator, you still got the issue of the transfer switches and transfer panel.
That's a lot less expensive and there's different ways to come up with that, I assume.
Is there any way that we could, have people donate to that? I'm sure,
well, we might be able to come up with other funding, yes, but, so the problem is that it cannot be connected to a church building,
Right.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
even.
private citizens
Right,
giving
but
money.
she's just trying to
No, no,
understand
no.
what the issue is with church
The
state.
issue
Yeah.
with the generator that we were talking about.
because it's permanent, it's part of the
Permanent
the
installation.
building plan.
Consider it
It
upgrade.
belongs to the building and the building.
I
belongs
don't
to the
agree with
church.
that, but that's the way it is.
So, what funding, had a problem? What were the sources that had a problem?
Most all
ARPA,
Our lawyer,
state and federal.
yeah, everybody came back with it. Nah, you can't do it. But
of them. We can have a.
like
fund
we
for
said,
that.
what we were thinking is that we could give a little extra money to the alliance for, one that you'd have to push the button on.
Well, I think what we will probably do is. I don't think we want one that doesn't come on automatically.
Okay,
So we will explore other funding options.
Are having one that comes on automatically, are we worried about the place freezing up before we can get there to start it? Or are we worried about just having it start automatically? In order to use the building, somebody has to come and unlock it.
Yeah, well, wouldn't want the building freezing before someone got there to start.
In a building of these sizes,
They hold their heat. quite a
it
while.
takes a little while, and so presumably, if somebody's gonna need to come in for warrant. Somebody will be coming over to open up and start things up, and if they start it up, and then have it run. It's not the end of the world if the building gets a little chilly and we warm it back up.
Mhm.
If we have the generator that can do that. We don't have to worry about rewiring all those other things. So it's an option. It's not a perfect option.
Mhm.
But sometimes if we can you can look for other sources and see if we can do that, but if we can't, it's something to consider.
Right,
Because if it's electric start and you go out and you push a button, you don't have to pull it and do all those other things that go on with.
and it could still be
generators.
hooked up to the propane.
Yeah, it could be all set and ready to go.
Yeah, but we're not gonna be wanting to have.
No, you,
Gas cans.
and you don't want to have
Yeah.
to carry it over there. You don't want to do any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it comes into the improvement to the church building that becomes a problem with churches.
Interesting.
So,
So
There's,
if a portable generator were hooked up to the propane tanks, which are,
It have to be its
powering-
own propane tank,
it would have to
I'm
have
assuming.
its own propane, you think?
I'm
To run the
assuming,
generator itself.
well, yeah,
because if you
because
hook
then
up
if
to
you run out
the,
of
if you hook up to
propane.
the church
So why
propane
would that-
tanks, then you're upgrading the church, yeah, you know what I mean? It has to have
Yeah,
its
I
own-
don't know that that's true because the propane tanks are not the churches. They belong to the gas company.
Right,
That might be a loophole.
yeah.
And so I assume that there's a combination of either you're paying for gas and propane through rent or something.
Yeah.
You're already paying for
It's-
that.
It's,
Yeah.
So I don't see that. And again, we'll be checking with the lawyers, but I don't see that as being a problem because it's not your tank.
Mhm.
You don't own the tank.
Right,
um, but the, building is paying for the propane.
Right, but it's
but then the
Through
audience
rent.
pays the rent
the help covers the cost of the
to
propane.
cover the cost of
And-
the propane.
And again, it's not a problem with the church helping the alliance. It's a problem with tax monies and government monies helping the church. It's the church. To the best of my knowledge, churches can donate money to whatever they want to, even to the government if they want to, but the government can't go the other direction. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to figure out. How to figure out what are some of the other options. And so,
there's a question from the gallery. Can't the grant be administered by the Marlboro Alliance? And there's two answers to that. The town cannot get a grant that then is administered by the Marlboro Alliance that helps the physical plant of the church. If the Marlboro Alliance wants to go out and try and find a private grant, there's people out there who do all sorts of stuff. It cannot be fed. It just can't be state, municipal, governmental monies to answer that question. And if you want to stay long enough, Bob Fisher, our lawyer, will be here later. And I asked him about this, and he's prepared to discuss it with you guys.
When is he gonna be available? Because I have to leave. I'm a caregiver.
I understand that. He's in another meeting. He's gonna be there in person as soon as he can. He had said it might be like around 6:30, 6:45. If you have some questions for him, you can send them to me and I'll send them to him and get the answers back to you.
So we can go ahead with this on old business and discuss some more.
we like the idea of what you're trying to
Yeah.
do.
Well,
We're just
we
trying to
will-
figure out what we can do legally.
Right.
And you've been on the board, you know what it's like.
It's interesting because we received a grant to put in the HVAC system.
But was that through
That
the
was-
town?
That was through the town, came through the town. And I believe it was a federal, may have been a federal grant or a state grant. It was, who was that we were dealing with? Jesse was on the board then, he did all the,
Jesse Kreitzer.
yeah,
We could ask him.
he did all the,
We should get back in touch with
Yeah.
Jesse to see where that grant came from.
yes,
Maybe it's in the minutes.
um,
Because it was
It came, I know that it came through the town,
In 2020.
that Linda had to, do the administration for it and then.
It'd
Community
be
center
interesting
had
to
to
see how
pay.
they did.
Yeah,
that,
how'd they
if
do that?
were, if they
Yeah.
were in violation, hopefully they weren't in violation.
Well, we're not taking it out yet.
No, of course not.
There may have been some special COVID, things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
reach out to him. I'll reach out to him and ask. That's a very
Yeah.
valid point.
Okay. All right, and we will, and we are also in contact with another grant source, so we, it'll be a mute point, but we will see. Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
We hope to make this work.
Okay.
So, does the town want to have the warming center as part of the emergency response plan?
If it's, according to Jay Sparks, if it's not the designated shelter, it does not.
It's not a shelter.
Right.
No, that's what I'm saying is if it's not the designated shelter, it does not supersede the church and state disallowance.
And so then the question that she's asking, I think, is it our warming centers considered part of the emergency response plan?
It isn't right now. I will talk to Jay and find out if he wants to include it. If we want to include it, if the board wants to include it.
No money, but it's gonna be in the plan.
Well, no, we don't know if it's in the plan or if can be, if warming centers are included in the plan, that's
Well,
different. Then we're looking at a different thing, but if what I'm hearing is that it's not a place to sleep.
No.
So it's a warming center. If the warming center is not considered part of the emergency plan, then if it is, then we can go back and talk, but we're trying to figure out this emergency plan and all of that and trying to figure out what that entails.
Yeah.
But right now, what we're being told is that because it's not an overnight center, it's not part of the emergency plan. So it has not been included in the plan. And so in order to get it in the plan, then we have to talk to the people that are doing the plan and getting the plan written up to find out if it can be included in the plan.
Well, there's no point in including it in the plan
If there's no money.
have the.
But if we can get it into the plan, then can we use money because it's part of our plan?
Yeah.
So
If it's not that, no, if it's not the,
We can't go the other direction. We can't say, we're gonna put the money in here and then try to get it into the plan.
We got you.
It's gotta go the right direction.
Yeah.
Is it part of the emergency plan? Then B, if it's part of our emergency plan, then can we use funds for that purpose? Because of the emergency plan as opposed to just,
Yeah.
and so that's gotta be written out first
Mhm.
before we can go forward with that. At least that's my understanding. And
Well,
I'm,
that could be a question for the lawyer when.
Right.
when
But I was,
He comes in.
I was thinking of emergency plan lowercase, in other words, not a written plan. What I was thinking of is if they're thinking of having Jay and et al. We're having the warming center as part of a.
it's hard to have a lowercase plan using government money, I believe. I think you then have to, if you're gonna start using the money, the town money, your tax monies and whatnot. If we're gonna start doing that, I think it has to be in a written plan. I don't think that we could just say it's gonna be a lowercase plan. This is our plan for our warming center without
Okay,
people coming in and saying, hey, whoa, just a minute.
yeah.
That's,
So
so
that's
it's,
interesting.
yes, it is. And it's the concept that you can give money to whoever you want. We can't.
Yeah, and the warming center can be a lower place.
It's planned,
Case.
but not financed through,
Got it.
at least that's my
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. It'll be
And we will
interesting to
continue
see
to
about
work with that.
Jesse's, about the other and.
Right.
And the other question, if it's part of the town emergency plan, then does
Then,
that change anything?
and we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
this is a gentleman might be able to answer, so
Oh, this
please.
is,
Hi,
Hi.
I'm only by Lawrence and I just came from cutting trails.
Okay,
You're talking about the meeting house?
we are.
Okay.
Bring him to the table.
Yeah, come on up.
Hi there.
One of the questions I'm hearing is that if it's part of the emergency plan for the town, what do they call it, Nick?
LEMP,
What?
Lemp.
the LEMP.
Local emergency management plan.
If it's part of that, of our town plan, does we still fall into that problem with certain state
It,
building?
you still fall into it, though it's a closer nexus. So the more that you're doing it for a public purpose, public funds for public purpose, separated from church and state, the better off you are.
Right.
If it's not the designated emergency center, if it's not a place where you hold town meeting, if it's not a place where you hold other meetings or, municipal functions, then it's unlikely that you can use.
If we use it for town meetings, like select board meetings or special select board meetings, does that help?
It helps, yes.
Because we already do that.
So it's not just a church. The whole downstairs is the community center.
Right.
So,
But the community
building-
center,
The building is owned by the.
correct.
it's a little different, for instance, in the town of Wyndham, they have a meeting house that's similar. But by deed, back in the 1790s, I think it was the downstairs was owned by the town. And the upstairs, which was the church, was owned by the church. And only recently, as the church claimed it to the town so that the town can use money to, and they lease it to the church. But that's a different situation where it's now fully owned by the town and the church uses it through a lease. This is more a church that the town is using, so it's a harder hurdle to jump over if you were challenged on church and state grounds.
Does that help answer some of the questions and
Yeah.
things?
Sounds like there is a possibility if it were included in the town emergency plan. Then it sounded like a little.
It's closer.
It's closer.
To being
I'm not saying that,
possibility.
it's not a test.
ARPA funds, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a test where you do one thing and then all of a sudden you meet it.
No, it's a lot of.
It's a lot of them. It's like your residency. It's not just having a Vermont license that makes you a resident in Vermont or a town. It's the indicia that state that this is the place you want to come back to. So,
Well, I would think that a lot of those other conditions could be met because it's the community center. The purpose is to benefit the town. It's not to benefit only the people who are part of the church. It's to benefit the entire town.
is
So
there a backup generator for this building?
Yes,
And I'm no electrician, but
no.
no.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not an electrician.
You have
We tried that.
Two different buildings.
we'd be
Okay.
generating electricity. We'd be a producer.
Yeah, power. Okay,
All
right.
Illegal.
thank you for that.
Okay, well, we will, thank you for your time and we will,
Marcia and Gail, let's stay in touch and work the issues. And I'm still trying to talk with Alyssa Sabato of the WRC. She gave me 4 grant sources that I'm trying to get in touch with, and I'm gonna ask them this exact question and see what they say.
okay, great.
We're
Sounds
working
good.
through this. We pretty much knew it was never gonna be a real easy thing,
Yeah,
but we're working through finding more answers and getting more questions. And hopefully it'll work out before it gets cold again. Hopefully, we've got a few months.
really good place to have a woman center.
It absolutely, there's no doubt about that. We just have to jump through the groups that we need to jump through to make this, we aren't breaking the law.
Yeah.
And doing something with your tax money.
I'd like to see that we have a center. It's nice to have a warming center during the day. But let's say the power outage is for 3 weeks. I mean,
people need a place to sleep.
We have
Well,
a
that is-
emergency place to take.
We're working on that. too.
Jay is working with Potash. The old shelter was it designated at the college, 17 beds. He's working to have Potash commit to that same deal in one of their existing buildings.
Okay. Fantastic.
And he's actually gonna come to the meeting on the 22nd to review the LEMP, and we can bring all these issues up to him. I will bring them up to him in advance of that, but, and if I could just request a change of agenda, and we can hit up Bob's other topic and then let him get out of here.
Yeah.
Everyone's in favor of that?
Yes, okay.
Yes, let's do
We
that.
started it early so that we wouldn't, so we would know if it was gonna blow up again like it did last time.
Would you leave me your phone number?
Yes.
That's something on the stove, but we'd be out here sooner, so. We're here for the parking. The parking question on the south. That's south. Just,
If you left something on the stove, take them. apart, but I-
Okay,
ours would be very short.
we're gonna go to the parking one on South Road or on South Pond.
Ames Hill and Cow Path.
And, I'm here mainly because I really understand the problem. It is, a
Sorry.
problem. It is a problem, parking. But I also urge the select board to realize how many people use that road to get into South Pond for exercise, for recreation year round. And if there's no place to park, it's gonna be a real problem. And so, I think it has to be thought through a little more.
How about that log landing?
So, really long story short, I tried tackling this issue around 3 years ago, maybe. I did the legwork. I got numbers from Jim Herrick about how much it would cost to make that log landing a more viable parking spot for cars, access South Pond. I had come to the select board and kind of informally threw out the idea that, hey, it's gonna cost this much. Would the town be interested in splitting the cost with the Ames Hill South Pond Association? It was never voted on. And I also informally made mention when David was road foreman that, maybe David would be willing to, maybe the highway would be willing to keep that parking area open during the winter months. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the email that I got 3 years ago from the Ames Hill Association, but I was told that they did not like the idea of making that a parking spot because they did not want to promote out-of-town people to come and use their property. And that was after I stated that it's a huge public safety concern. I'm disappointed that more people that live on that road aren't here because there are 3 or 4 people in particular that feel very strongly about not having people park there. It's a public safety concern for myself with the highway as far as not only motorists on the road, but more importantly, our trucks on the road. If it's slippery and we happen to start sliding down that hill and there's people parked there, and we hit them, the town's liable because we hit a parked car. But in my mind, technically, it wasn't our fault.
Yeah.
We slid into somebody who shouldn't have been parked there. And also an important note is there's been times where people actually stack up on both sides of the road. And I've witnessed that myself, where I've actually just barely squeezed through with a fire truck when I needed to. It's a disaster, and I feel bad for people that live on that road who could potentially have an emergency. And and the fire company or EMS services potentially not being able to access them. Now, an argument could be made, people don't park that way all the time. Well, my argument to that is it only takes one time. I think I would like to be proactive in addressing this problem, which is why, and I know I hear what you're saying. I don't personally use South Pond during the winter months because I'm not a big cross-country
I
skier.
don't either, but there are a lot of skiers. who
Right,
do.
yeah, absolutely.
I go
But you
through
get from Mudley.
I go through your place now.
Andrew, is there any way there, is there enough room on the side to make it wider,
But-
make a
So
wider
the-
parking place on the edge of the road there?
So the issue is with that, Gail, is I would have normally said, yeah, sure. However, we are, the town's right of way is 50 feet from the center of the road. So you got 25 feet on each side from the center to start with. So it's a really small right of way. There's also a stone wall that is right at our right of way, and people don't like ripping out stone walls, which I don't blame them. The third issue is that property used to be owned by Lisa Hecht, that little triangle there,
Yeah.
and she recently sold that to the woman that owned the property on
The zoo.
the zoo lady, the
Oh,
zoo
yeah.
lady person.
Right.
When I went out and tried, and when I went out and looked at her driveway permit, she asked me, how do I get people to stop parking here? Because she owns the property now and she might put up her own signs or fences or stakes, so.
Liability issues for her as well.
Right. So there's another issue too. I know she's not happy, but that might be something to approach, her about.
Seems like
there
the
was-
Hill Association would only come around.
Yeah, that would seems like the first
Yeah.
place to start.
That
Because a
would
lot
make
of
the
people,
most sense.
some of us park at their log landing further in, and that's owned by them too.
No, is,
But not in the
Here's
winter.
the issue.
but in the ski trail that is there, is that the one that's maintained by the,
He doesn't maintain the road, the access road.
no, but does he maintain the ski trail?
Well, only as it crosses South
On
Pond,
the
but not all the way down to Cowpath 40.
Who takes care of?
That's closed.
It's closed.
That road is.
Okay, but for the skiing is done on the ski trail at some
Yeah,
point.
but you ski in through all the dog poop and the
A lot of
boot
people
parks and.
park at,
Instead of parking
But we
over at the college. they
We have
park
parking
right
at the
there.
college for the ski trail.
Yeah, but
Right.
you're not limited to the trail, that's just, and that isn't always maintained either, the one on the South Pond.
yeah, a lot of people ski into the pond. They don't access the rest of the ski trails. They just go into the pond and,
Yeah, that's not really an
Yeah.
access to the, Potash Hill Trail System. And, you know, I mean.
It's a separate ski event. People going in on the road.
Does somebody maintain that trail on it's just people going out and skiing, eventually creating their own trails? Okay.
But it is used a lot
Just trying to-
year round. That's the thing.
Well, and again, well, then the question, the parking lot that you talked about building, is that part of the?
Egg
South
Cell
Pond?
Association, yeah.
Yes, it's their property. Okay, and they don't want.
As of
there,
As of
because it's out
3
of state.
years
people
ago,
coming
they
in.
well, you know, that board has changed.
Yeah, Leland's the president
It
now.
could be It could be that things have changed.
Yeah.
Can I make a quick proposal? I don't know if you guys want to vote on it tonight or not, you know, whatever. I guess my original idea as far as the highway. Maintaining the parking lot, if it did come to be. I think if the select board approved that, and if the parking lot, in fact was built. I wouldn't mind maintaining it as far as keeping it plowed out. Sanded the best we could. That would be my contribution to solving this issue.
Very generous.
I really don't want to be the head if we want to approach the Ames Hill Association, because I didn't get anywhere the first time, so maybe a fresh or a new person approaching them might want to take it on and get a different
Molly
result.
volunteered. I saw her hand.
You're members of the Ames Hill Association,
No.
right? No?
No, town.
I am.
He's doesn't look like a rich guy.
Okay. Because I'm not a member either. We're trying to become members, but we're not members. And so I was just, if the Ames Hill Association, if we tell them your people can't park here.
I'll have Fred do it.
Fred? Hi, Fred.
Fred can do it. And so I think that we just talk about how we would approach that because of the safety issue. We need to do something about the parking.
So that's something
And
you can do.
you don't want us to just say you can't park here and you guys have to go.
I just think it's gonna create more of a problem if signs go up, people are gonna park somewhere. And so better to try and have an alternative in mind.
So that's why I originally approached this with
Yeah.
with an ordinance, because legally, I don't think, or technically, we can't do anything as far as like towing a vehicle at owner's expense type deal without an actual town ordinance. We can put up a no parking sign all we want, but if we don't have an ordinance to back it up, then people can still do what they want.
And
Um,
the one option is, well, people could park here and park down. There isn't parking here either. You know, it's a real problem. So if there's that lot is an obvious place to do it. And I can't believe that it's gonna bring in thousands of people from all over the country to park.
We're hoping it's just get them off the road.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
If
It's
they're
members
coming in from
only.
all over, then there, I
Exactly.
can't see. Having the parking lot, I don't think is going to have a huge impact on the use.
No, and
It's just getting them off the road.
And
for safety.
putting up, making it no parking is gonna create a real hazard.
I don't think there's rarely more than 4 cars max parked there, even in the winter
At the
when
most,
people
yeah.
are skiing in, so.
Originally, Gail, when I approached Jimmy Herrick and met with him at that log landing, we basically said, or I basically said, hey, Jimmy, I want a price on a parking lot to fit maximum 12 vehicles.
Yeah.
So, and I can't, I think it was like 5
Four.
million, something like
Yeah.
that, but I don't remember the price
Yeah.
that he gave me.
4.
I think that's an obvious solution. Thank you for listening, but I didn't want to see it go through without presenting the fact that there are a lot of people that do use it.
Here's a good back to you, I guess.
But again,
We'll
the
get back
access
to you.
through there is for people that are members of the association,
Yeah, but
right?
they-
Well, no, this is
no.
not just the association, but it's
Right.
members of the park association and.
And
I
the
guess
fishing,
public
fish
access to the
landing,
boat
yeah,
landing.
the state made that road.
It's a right
Away from, it's a state right away.
Is it maintained?
By the Ames Hill
Not-
Association.
So it's
not
not
in the winter
maintained
time.
for ice fishing.
There's no ice fishing allowed, per the state on South Pond anyways.
So it's for skiing.
And
And that's.
walking,
Walking, whatever.
winter
But
activity.
it's for the association members,
No, anybody.
It's public.
It's public.
okay?
Yeah, it's a public
Right,
state.
It's the road is a public road to the boat launch because it's the state has a right of way. However, it's private property. But it's not posted as in no trespassing type deal. So they're not saying, hey, we want Wilmington folk and everybody else to come and ski our land, but they're also not saying you can't be on our property because it's not posted anywhere.
So when you get to the split, each entrance to each of the 2 beaches have gates.
Yes.
So it's, you can't assume immediately that just because we've made it so people could walk out there,
Yeah,
that they would be trespassing.
the public road ends at the
Fish landing.
At the,
The boat
fishing access.
Right.
It's a big parking lot,
Yes.
fishing access. That's where the public road ends.
Right.
But people
Just-
like to walk in from the entrance out on South Road.
Cowpath.
Ames.
Yeah, Cal.
But with the gate being closed, that way, well, there's residents down there in the winter too, right?
No,
No,
No. So if people park there, they're not gonna worry about a car coming down if the gate's locked.
So there's no gate
At the end.
at the end of at the Ames Hill end, Cowpath 40 end of the road, there isn't a gate.
No,
There's only gates when you get up close to the lake that
Yeah.
block people from going into the beach areas
Oh, okay.
that are private beaches.
Alright.
But there is the public landing up there that people can use in the summertime because they can take
Boats.
boats onto the waters. But what we're trying to solve is that in the winter time, there's no place for parking
Or the summer.
or in the summer.
Yeah, people walk in the summer.
And there's
park and
no,
walk.
That stretch of road is a really good area for old folks like me to walk on. Yeah.
but from a safety standpoint, it's better for you to park in by the boat landing and walk out and back. It's the same walk, both
It's the same,
directions.
it's the same.
But it's safer for me driving down the road. It's safer for me as a town member for liability. And so then what we're trying to do is to reduce our liability with people parking in places that it's not illegal because we have no signs, we have no ordinance. So it's not illegal for them to park there, but it certainly creates a potential hazard for the fire trucks getting through. And if it only takes just one time, all it takes. And so that's an issue and a potential hazard for us as a town. In the wintertime, if they're parked there and it's snow and ice, and we've already seen what happens with snow plows and cars, it's not pretty. And that wasn't a dig.
No, that's correct.
But the guy being in the wrong place at the wrong time with your car. And you get stuck in there and all of a sudden the plow comes through and can't see you. But yeah, we're still liable. And so those are, if we are intentionally parking there, knowing that it's a hazard, then what should we as a town be doing to saying, okay, you guys want this access and stuff to be here, how do we make it safe? Because we have a safety
Is to.
convince, but we're trying to convince private property to let us put a parking. And so they have rights, oh, this is my private property.
So
So do
just-
we plow in 20 feet in the road and make room for 4 cars, 5 cars in the fall? Or in the winter that they plow in 20 feet or whatever to make that room so that they're not on the corner? I don't know. I'm throwing out ideas and stuff to make it safe so people can still do the things they enjoy. But make it safe for you and for me and the community.
So just so I can, in my notes here, so as the select board, you want to approach the Ames Hill Association again and see if they'd be amenable to the park, to making that area a little bit more convenient to park in. I mean, people theoretically could park in it now. I mean, but make it a little bit more clear. And I guess Molly said that she would talk to them. Is that where we're at with this?
You invite them to the board.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a try.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I will.
Up there all the time.
And there are the. two
So
ponds.
that's Leland I should invite?
Yeah.
But that's private property.
Yeah, those are the ones that are in question, right?
No, I don't think so.
Now, well, you
Where
said
the
that-
library, where the
It's private.
private property.
Uh-huh. Right.
That's probably on, what's her name?
The zoo,
The zoo lady.
Yeah.
I picked up on that.
So is that, so the board
That's
wants me
where
to
we
invite,
stand.
the board wants me to invite Leland to come to a meeting?
When we start talking about safety issues, I think it's important that we do it and bring them to talk about it and what our concerns are for safety for the community. And
Okay.
what are our potential options?
Well,
I will shoot an email to him next week and then see which meeting he can come to.
And again, that's just
Shane.
me. I'm just one.
I think, why don't we just start with contacting him,
Yeah,
Molly?
Her.
See if they're at all amenable to thinking
Yeah.
about it.
And then we can have this on old business
Yeah.
and invite you guys back and the other guy from the
Okay.
association.
Thank you very much for
All
your
right,
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you have a nice
Hopefully we
dinner.
get for dinner.
Yes.
So again, I just want to, so Molly, are you gonna do the reach out?
Yeah.
1 minute, Nick. People are shuffling around.
Okay.
Kind of packed. tonight.
So,
So do we
Molly,
wanna-
Molly, are you gonna do the reach out?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Leland and ask her if she feels it would be necessary to come talk to
Talk to
us.
us. Okay, great.
Just, can I make one,
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta talk first, but from a legal standpoint. And I can't picture the relative location, but. If they were willing to do something on a trial basis, you could do, instead of a lease or something long-term. You could try it on a trial basis. You know, the problem there is if you're making a parking lot, you're spending some money to do it. And you would want to see how it works for, you know, a year or something like that. Maybe they'd be okay with that. And if as a result of that, they say, gosh, we have people from all over different states. It didn't help, it just invited people, if that's the argument. Then rip it up and take it out, but I don't know what the cost is.
It's pretty solid, because
I
it was
think I
a
remember
loan.
Jimmy saying, I think 5,000 to make it more viable, and that was very much just. Leveling it out a little bit, putting some either stone or gravel on top of the stone. But most of it, I think, was just his time.
Yeah, because it was already a log drop.
It's a log line.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
I think it's, in my opinion, it's relatively inexpensive. And considering, you know, if the town was willing to, you know, go in halves with them. You know, then it'd be even less expensive.
It's more the politics of the association.
Right.
Yeah.
I think,
Right.
Anyway, I didn't know, but.
For the places where people park there now,
who would be asking you anyway?
they can't be worried about their cars because they're parking on like this.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Well, they're
we're
worried
running,
about it until we hit it.
Andrew,
Yeah.
we're running a bit late. You think we're okay tabling the Beaver and the Higley Hill till next week? Next meeting? Since you're kind of
Yeah.
moving ahead with the Beaver anyway?
Yeah, I don't really want to push back Higley Hill any longer, but so next week would be great.
Okay,
Or next
The eighth.
meeting. would be
the
great.
8th.
well.
Okay.
It's that important. You can let Bob go, then.
No, it's not like I need to talk about it now. I just don't want it to keep getting tabled because we run out of time is all. I just want to get a head start on it.
Sounds good.
Well, can we introduce Bob and about the National Grid? and how-
Yeah, if you want, sure.
I think so.
So I think, met with Nick and Molly and came up with what I proposed as a third amendment to the license agreement. And, the idea here is whatever you decide on tonight, I'll get to National Grid's attorney tomorrow. She's actually leaving Saturday for a week's vacation, but she said if I got her something tomorrow, she'd at least run it up the flagpole there and get a quick response. Now, there's no guarantee her response is gonna be like, oh, yeah, you know, we agree with it because we're asking for a significant amount more of money on that. And, but the highlights would be an agreement for another 10 years, asking for a license fee being increased to 12,000 and then adjusted up according to the CPI, Consumer Price Index.
Yep.
And then the two other, or two or three. By the way, as you leave, I just want to say you're doing a great job on the roads.
Well, thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate
I
it.
just
Well, my
wanted-
guys do most of the work, so
Wow.
they deserve more.
Take, all right, take the credit wherever, but you're doing a super job.
I will, thank you.
Share it with them.
The other bigger asks are the gate and the $1,000 per year for annual maintenance. I don't think asking them to do the repairs, which we have estimated by Bob Anderson being about $8,600. Based on, I take it you've seen.
Yes,
you've seen-
it's beautiful.
Yeah, okay, so it's really nice, he's laid out
Thank you.
exactly where things need to be, what gravel, all of that, so, and that's. In today's world, I don't think a very big price, and they're a big company,
Right.
And my argument, if she says, oh, wow, this is $8,600, this is maintenance that under the previous license
Was
agreement,
supposed to be.
they were supposed to be doing every year.
So
So
this,
not only do we want them to do it, but moving forward, that's why I put in $1,000 per year into an escrow. And then we can be doing the maintenance as we go forward. So,
Who would do the maintenance?
well, the way I've got it here is, the town would hold the maintenance funds and then make the necessary repairs as the town sees fit. So if you're getting $1,000 per year and
for my simple mind, basically what we're doing is putting $1,000 into our general front fund and assuming the maintenance of that road.
yes. I mean,
Simply,
yes,
Because according to Mike Purcell, as soon as it's actually brought up to where it should be, he and his minions can keep it with
Yeah.
rakes and,
for the most
unless
part.
there's a flood or
right,
something.
yeah.
Basically, going into escrow, yes, we could put it into escrow, but
Doesn't, yeah, I said escrow, but you're right.
But
I mean, so long you're allocating that $1,000.
what that
but if
$1,000
the
is saying is that we assume they're responsible for maintaining everything up to the tower.
Yeah,
For the 10 years.
For the 10 years.
Yeah.
For $10,000, $1,000 a year. So,
Yeah.
just from my simple mind.
the other way to do that, and this is more strategy of how you want us to approach National Grid, is if you want, we could take that out and just say, make it $13,000 a year with an escalation, and you'll do the maintenance, but that's a bigger jump from where they were.
But that's
currently.
writing out their responsibility for maintenance.
Right,
After it's been repaired.
So, yeah, they have to do the repairs.
yeah, oh, yeah.
But then after that, we increase our rent by $1,000 a month, a year, or whatever it is. But we will do the maintenance. So we don't have to worry about whether you do the maintenance or not, which you didn't do for the last 10 years.
Right,
So we will do the maintenance. But we're gonna charge you. To me, that makes it simpler.
Yep.
It's going into our general fund. We're gonna do the maintenance. If it costs us $1,200 that year, it's gonna cost us $1,200. If it's $800 a year, it's,
you save a little.
it is whatever. But then it also gives us the CPI
Right, yeah,
on that maintenance
Okay.
money.
okay.
Does that
Why
make
do we
sense?
wanna take, why do we wanna take over the
Because-
responsibility of maintaining the road?
Because they failed to.
Well, they're getting back charged.
It's a great, it's a legitimate question, it's just,
Right.
which way is it actually gonna get done? If we have them do it, like like the current, and we have to get after them and be the enforcer on it.
Right.
If the town does it, it could, the downside is that you could get a significant flood or something like that, and it ends up being a bigger project than what you had bargained, and you would have liked to say, oh, I wish we could make them do that. So there are pros and cons to that. I think.
Well, the
that-
original agreement, nobody was there probably sitting around this table, but there was a reason why they didn't want to take on the maintenance. So our town, maintenance crew is a lot better than they used to be. There's a little bit more of them, but still, to put that burden on them
Right.
is.
It wouldn't be the road crew.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Oh, it wouldn't be
Only
the
if there
road.
would be something major that would have to do.
Okay,
with it.
so
Not
the
the
road crew
road
could
is
st-
basically not doing it. We're paying
It'll
for
be
the gravel
HPC, yeah.
and things like that, that they will be doing with their people will be doing it. We'll be providing them with the material to do it with if they need it.
Yeah.
At least that's
That's what Mike said.
my understanding.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
fine.
that-
It definitely would not be your town crew, even if you were doing certain maintenance, you would third party that out to a small contractor that could fill up
With a backhoe.
backhoe or whatever. It's in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't need huge amounts of work.
No.
I mean, it does show significant erosion in certain places.
My belief is that this maintenance, and again, mine is that the maintenance is more for our the way we look at it, but for the appearance. I don't think National Grid has had any problem getting to their tower.
Correct, absolutely.
And so it's what we want to maintain for that road to look like.
Which is
Mhm.
why they didn't live up to the original contract. I mean, no one forced them to live up to it, and that's why we're looking at up to a $10,000 cost to get the road back to where it should be.
And if there's 10 years from now, when we have to redo this again, we won't be sitting at the table either. Right. And trying to understand what was going on. And so, to me, it does make more sense just to put it in for the rent. We throw the CPI increase on top of it, and then we take care of the maintenance. Okay?
How does that strike you in terms of their probable counteroffer?
If they say, oh boy, that's too big of a jump, then I think we go back
To
to
the 12 and
to the 12 and the 1. It ends up being the
Exactly the
same,
same.
but for purposes of how they
Look at it.
sell it to their folks, my hope. I'm sure we're gonna get some pushback. It's their job to push back. But in the grand scheme of things, this is not something that they want to spend lots and lots of time on. Nor is it something where they want to lose the license agreement.
Right.
This is
Because from the
huge
town standpoint, the town can say,
buy.
see you later. It's really.
Yeah, I think from a negotiating standpoint,
$1,000 a year.
Right, they're not gonna-
from a negotiating standpoint, I think it's much more important to get the yearly bump. I mean, if we've got to give up.
CPI. Yes.
Yeah, but the yearly CPI, they've been living high on the hog, having the adjustment only once every 5 years. That's, I think we benefit much more from having it be yearly, so that if we have to give a little bit on this initial increase, 12,000, whatever it is, as long as we hold firm on the increase happens yearly based on the CPI, I think we'll end up in a much better place. That's just my opinion.
And I put in the gate. I don't think that's gonna be a big issue.
Yeah.
I would hope it's not. If something like that becomes
Yeah,
a
that's-
big issue, we can start playing
Right.
hardball with them, but I don't.
We don't want to if we.
Yeah,
don't
we
get
have
And I thought,
to, we have to insist on a Yale combination lock, though. That's I'm firm on that.
He's a Yally.
Okay, all right. And I plan on sending along the maintenance needs and the estimates to them, just to show that that's, put our money, we have nothing to hide. We got estimates.
We
this is
made
what
the
we-
effort to do it. so-
To see what the cost is.
Yeah,
And again, it's,
okay, I'll get that out tomorrow morning, to Patricia Wong, and
are you ready for it to go out? Or do you have?
No, we can vote on it. Is that what you want to do?
I don't think we need to vote on, do we need to vote
We
on
give
it? Or just-
permission to have you submit it.
right, and if you just give me permission to submit that proposal, then we'll negotiate, and assuming we, over the next
Okay.
couple of weeks, we get
But
a final determination, then you'll vote on.
You could just say.
Uh,
For the
Yes,
sake of,
go ahead,
for the,
Richard.
for the sake of sticklers, let's do a motion, just so I can
Sure.
write it in the minutes.
Well, yes. As far as we
I'm
don't need to
fine.
vote, you can just say, go ahead as the
Yeah.
chair.
Okay.
And then once they agree, then we can vote on it.
Yeah, once I get if they push back, I'll report back to Nick and Molly, who's been the point person, I think,
Yep.
of the three of you. And perhaps we go back a little bit against them, but we'll see how. My guess is the next step is we'll get it to them, we'll see how far apart we are. And if we're really far apart, we'll come back and we'll talk. If we're not too far apart, we can massage it a little bit and hopefully get something final, then come back to you to vote on.
Okay,
Perfect.
maybe she'll be so excited about her vacation, she'll just say, fine.
I just want to officially and out loud praise Bob for jumping in on this.
God, so quick.
I think this is the beginning of a wonderful friendship.
Well, that's great. So,
Thank you.
all right, I will
Okay.
get out of here and
Enjoy your Beaver Deceiver tour.
What's that? Oh,
You have to drive on Grant Road.
yeah, yeah. Well, I noticed coming over,
Town Hill.
Hill Road, right as
You've
you get off,
got the screens pretty well blocked.
Beaver have really made a heck of a comeback in the last.
Well,
5 or
there
10
is a way to catch them and put them somewhere like in Wilmington. No, just kidding, folks.
Let's dump them in Townsend. Okay,
Yeah,
I've
get them
just
far
got
enough away, they're not gonna come back.
Right.
Thanks, Bob.
Have a good night.
I've just got a
Nice
bunch
meeting
of quickie things that you've got to move on and stuff. The woman who's been heading up Green Up Day has had it and has resigned and taken her assistant with her. But we do have a new head of Green Up Day, Julie Sweethill, and she has an assistant, Sarah Lavigny. And so if you guys just want to make a motion to approve them as the Green Up Day coordinator and co-coordinator, that would be great.
What was the co-coordinator's name again?
Sarah, Lavigne.
I got it.
Okay, I make a motion to accept Julie Sweethill and Sarah
Lavinia.
Lavinia,
Whatever.
chair and co-chair are of the Green Up Day.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay,
Uh,
then
Nick-
real quick on the
Nick,
YouTube stuff.
Yes,
The last 4 videos have had like between 6 and 20 views, and I think it's all the people, the town meeting people and stuff. But so I don't think it's that big an issue. But I think as long as we keep notifying people who are at the meeting that it's being recorded, I think it's fine. I don't, as long as you guys, the board, are willing to, you're identified as the board anyway, so, but I'll leave any discussion up to you guys.
That's fine with me. I think we just monitor the number of views.
Yeah, if I suddenly see something up at 100 or 200, then that's something we might have to be concerned about.
Okay.
Then, in going over the LEMP with Jay, we noticed that Marcia Hamilton was still listed as the public information officer, which she did a long time ago. And both he and I felt that it was probably more appropriate to have whoever was the town administrator, currently me, be the public information officer, which entails me doing some training, which I'm willing to do, and just need to be appointed, motion to appoint me by you guys.
I'll make a motion to appoint the town administrator as the public information officer for emergency operation and management.
Second.
any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. I graciously
New town
accept.
administrator is. So if you leave, the new town administrator is.
That's
Yeah.
why I
like that.
phrased it. That's why I phrased it that way. Basically, it's posting things on Front Porch Forum. There's a storm coming. Oh my God! Run away! No.
Okay.
Jay and I have been working on the LMP. He's almost completed it, and I'll mention to him this whole thing with the warming center. I've invited him to come to the June 22nd meeting to kind of finalize it. And part of that discussion is going to be prepping you guys for these meetings on 6/28 that he would really love you guys to come. It's at the Wilmington Fire Department building, their new fancy building. And basically it's war games. They'll sit there and they'll go over some general policies, and then they'll break people into groups. and go, okay, we've got 40 inches of rain and these roads are washed out and the electricity's down. What's the best process? And he really wants you guys to attend. Of course, it's up to you. I've already got it on my calendar, and I would just urge you guys to come.
Is this the one where they're gonna feed us, Nick?
They're gonna feed us, so that's free
Okay.
food.
What time?
So I'll send reminders out and I will leave it in your hands. He also stressed that he'd really love you guys to jump on that online FEMA training and at least get through level 100. I know it's a pain. I'm doing it. It's a pain. And then I'm have to do 400 and then I have to do 700. But he would really love it if you guys would just do the 100 level at least. And then I sent you a link to an Act 250 survey. Take a look at it. If you want to fill it out, fill it out. If you don't, who cares? And then finally, I just need a firm approval motion to submit the MERP application for the $4,000 mini grant.
For the Energy Committee.
I make a motion that we accept we give permission to submit the application for the MERP grant, mini grant.
I second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Right?
And
Motion-
last
motion
thing,
carried.
I have is the next stage of MERP is the building assessments. I think we're going to be able to get both the town office and the garage included. Forrest and I would like to do the phase 2 assessment, which includes giving them electric bills and blueprints and stuff. The importance of these assessments, they don't cost us anything. It's the assessment people are provided by the state. Is that whatever they recommend when we put in our bid for up to $500,000 in funding, anything that's been included in the assessment report gets extra credit. And there's nothing you have to do. It should be coming down the pike. We're not really under a time crunch because every town will get them. It's just, we want to act on it quickly so that we get this done so we can then get working on the 500 grand.
Beautiful.
Huh?
Beautiful.
Okay, is that it, Nick?
Yes, that is it.
Any
So we didn't go
discussion on anything?
So we didn't go too long. We probably could have given Andrew a little bit more time, but I didn't want to push it.
We'll put him up first next time.
Yeah.
Last thing, it's not on the agenda, it's just a scheduling thing. I sent you a text on this. I'm gonna send Patty Smith an email that said, you're perfectly welcome to come to the 6/8, 6/22 or 7/13 meeting to put forth your opinion and such on the beaver issue, which will contain a lot of promotion for Skip Lyle.
Yeah, and Andrew's already made arrangements with Tyler.
So when's our next meeting?
The next meeting is June 8th.
Okay.
If you don't want to, and who's ever there, if you don't want to take a whole lot of time putting the owl away, just kind of stick it on the shelf there, and I have to run up to the building tomorrow anyway with my gimpy leg so I can scan the stuff you signed today and get it in the email. Yeah, please leave the signed things in the folder and leave it in the select board box over by the kitchen.
Okay, you want it in the folder?
Put it in the folder, and if you can put the list of attendees that in there also, that would be great. Do we want to adjourn?
Stop recording. Whoops.
We got to adjourn first.
Yep, I'd make a motion to adjourn The meeting on May 25th at 7:35.
Second,
Discussion. Motion passes.
all in favor?
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
know which basket is the select board basket.
No,